Why do so many veterans struggle with life after transition? Well, I think we spend so much time collectively as a team. Everything we do, from when we first join, we're not by ourselves. We're working with others, we're learning about one another. We then go into a specific role where we will not be working by ourselves typically. So it's very team-oriented. And if you go back to your boot camp days, you're pretty much stripped of your identity. They first take away your hair and your style, and you're given a uniform. So right from the very beginning, it's about the team. And the struggle is after 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, you're still thinking like a team. And what's next? I think that's the biggest struggle. That's the biggest hurdle. Too many veterans don't think about the future enough, and they quickly just make a decision to jump into a career. And once they get in that career, they realize that the team environment is sort of dissipated. And so that can be an issue. Where do vets struggle to find personal identity and purpose outside of the military? Well, I would say it's with relationships. If you think about it, 99% of the country has no idea what the military is like, because only 1% actually raise their hand and take that oath. And so in the team environment, it's easy to understand one another. It's easy to communicate with one another. The military jargon just makes sense. Outside of the military, it's a whole new language. And so with relationships external to the military, it's rather hard to connect. And as people think about what's outside of the military, you have to develop new habits. And perfect example of a new habit would be, you know what, I'm not good at networking, I'm not good at going up to new individuals. I need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I need to make the effort, lean forward, and extend my hand to make a handshake. That's very difficult to do. How much do you think about your future before you separate? I would argue clearly not enough. You are so focused on your job and the mission at hand, before you know it, it's time to exit. The exit date is going to come. And the first thing that they do, or that the military asks of you, is to go ahead and knock out all your requirements, whether that be get your medical checkups up to date, make copies of your medical record, go through this long checklist that the administrative folks want you to go through. And before you know it, you are now a free person. But did you take time to consider the other side? What's next? And that is a daunting feeling. I felt it. It's not comfortable. And I would say that most of us don't spend enough time thinking about that, and too much time on the very next thing that's in front of us instead of several months and years ahead. Why do vets need the U-School? Well, I would ask another question to start this response is, how much of your service did you spend focused on you? And most likely the answer is none at all. You were focused on your job, and then you were focused on the people around you. If you were in a leadership role, a lot of people. And then the very next thing you were focused on is whatever time left you had for your family and friends. And it's usually in that order: your role, your people, and whatever time left for family and friends. How much time were you spending on you? And the answer is probably not enough. I think it's important and it's imperative, and this is why I would say the U-School is so necessary. The U-School carves out time. The process requires time. Of you. You don't spend enough time on yourself. You clearly don't. You're focused on others. I would say, and highly suggest and highly recommend, take time for yourself. Whatever it is, start the process. 3 weeks, 6 weeks. I went through the U-School myself, and the effects of it lasted and lasted and lasted. And I'm still being shaped by it. It allowed me a sense of, or time and space to get clear with my mind, with my intentions, and create new habits. Everything that I talked about before, it allowed me to build a process that made sense for me. And I'm continually making new relationships because of that, outside of the military. And I'm working in a space that I would have never, ever thought of because I took the time that was necessary for me.